I just had a session with a client and she agreed for me to share something with you that we had talked about, which I think would be very useful for all of you, all of my viewers out there who are concerned about narcissistic manipulation happening out there in the street and in our lives. And so this is a subtle form of manipulation that I think often flies under the radar, that I think we should become more aware of, more conscious of, and just call it out, not necessarily verbally out loud to the narcissist when it's happening, or to the person doing it is happening. Not necessarily, we don't need to label them that, but the behavior in itself is narcissistic. So we don't need to call it out to them, but call it out to ourselves. Take a note, take a mental note, because this is important and this is quite pervasive. So what is this? So let's say that you're having coffee, you're having a conversation with someone you're going out on a date with, and this person is starting to look at you and sort of size you up and listen to you intently, but they're not really listening to what you're saying, but rather they're listening to how you're saying it and what's behind it. And in response, rather than engaging in a conversation, what they're saying is that, well, you sound so suspicious, or you sound like you don't really trust people, you don't trust men, or, you know, based on what you're telling me about the experience that you've had, you're probably someone who will, and you can fill in the blanks, who will judge others or whatever. It's like they're putting a label on you before they even know you very well. And even if you've spent some time with them and you've told them some of the stories that of things that has happened to you, maybe you told them that in the past, you've had somebody cheat on you, or maybe you really don't trust people, and you shouldn't, by the way, trust people at their face value. Trust is earned. We need to give people time to show us who they are before we give them our full trust. So maybe you even shared some of that, but there will be a moment when they will just kind of like look at you and go like, well, you know, sounds like you're somebody who just, you know, is so affected by the things that happened to you in the past that I feel like you're not going to trust me. Or all women are jealous. You know, women are just jealous in general. You know, this sort of generalizations based on the things you may have mentioned, and it results in putting that label on you. Another form of this, which is quite common, and this is something that narcissistic people do notoriously, manipulators do notoriously, is because it's indirect. What they will do is, rather than tell you what kind of qualities they like in other people, or what it is that they're looking for in their partner, coming from more of like a positive place, what they're going to do is they're going to tell you stuff about their exes that they didn't like. So, for example, you know, my ex used to be so upset when I would talk to my girlfriends, or the girlfriends of my friends, or when I would look at women who are nicely dressed and comment on that. You know, it's like they're setting a precedent. It's like they're letting you know what their expectation is for you not to do these things. And people who are not initiated into this, who don't understand how this thing operates, who come from, I would say, innocent / naive place. This is none of their fault. You know, I've been there myself. Most of us have been there, and maybe you're there now, and it's okay, no judgment. But if you're not initiated into these tactics, if you don't know truly where they're coming from, because they're coming from the insecurity of this person, by the way. They might come across as being very confident, but that's fake confidence. The reason why they're saying this, why they're putting all these labels, is because they want to ensure you behave in a very certain boxed-in way that will make them feel comfortable, right? But for those who don't know this, what we're going to do is, I remember I did that, is I kind of thought to myself, well, I'm going to be better than that, right? Notice the immediate, where my mind went very wrong. It went to a place where, what can I do to appease this person? What can I do to please this guy? Because he's so amazing. Oh my God, like, I want him. I want to be with him. It's like this part of me that was just so into this person without, and had such tunnel vision that I didn't notice what was happening here, right? That I'm being manipulated right in the daylight and I'm not seeing it. It's subtle, but it is very blatant. One way to see this, because this could be kind of foggy for some of us to see how what a blatant manipulation this is flip it around and imagine that you're that person who's sitting with someone you're seeing, someone you just met or someone you've been dating for some time, and you're telling them that stuff. It's like all the guys want is X, Y, and Z, right? I'm of course talking from a female perspective here, but this also concerns men, because women are as manipulative as men are. So just want to make sure that you can change the gender here, and you could even use mixed genders, whatever, it all applies. So imagine you doing that, and you calling out that someone is acting very suspicious. Now, if they really are over the top grilling you, grilling you about things like, where'd you go? What'd you do? You can say, well, you're sounding a little paranoid, right? It's adequate. But if it's not adequate and you're just having a conversation and this person is point blank acting as if they can read your mind, they can see your inner architecture, and they're going down there with a flashlight, and pointing out at things and telling you this stuff to make you feel intimidated first, because that's the first thing that it does, is it creates sort of this feeling of intimidation and inward collapse. Maybe it's too much of a strong word, but it's like you turn inwards. You start to look at yourself and wonder, well, maybe I am like that. Maybe I am jealous. And of course, the mind, the way the brain works is it loves to answer questions. If we pose a question or some kind of a quest for it, like, where have I been jealous? Now, it will find an example. We've all been jealous sometime in our life, but that doesn't make us jealous people. And what narcissists and manipulators are notorious at doing is manufacturing moments to evoke those emotions. That could be another context in which these things are being stated. You're getting the labels are being put on you, right? Either directly by telling you how you are appearing in this moment, or indirectly by saying what they didn't like about somebody else having done that, because that made them feel stupid or jealous or insecure or low value, right? Whatever description you want to use here. And then you're hearing that, but you're taking all of that in, you're going inwards immediately. You're like doing a self-reflection. You're finding validation in what they're saying, because we can all find examples. And then what happens next? The next happens is this inner contortion to want to appease, to want to please, to want to become what is being expected of us by this other person, so they don't walk away. Whereas I think the most appropriate action in this case would be to actually thank them for the coffee and get up and actually walk away, right? Because when somebody is doing this stuff, early on, you can be sure that they have a lot more tricks in their bag, and they're going to try to change you. They're going to try to mold you into the image of whatever it is that they have imagined in their very immature mind what their partner should be, so they are forever in this cocoon of protection and comfort, and don't you dare upset their inner peace, right? And of course, mature relationships with mature people don't work like that. They're rife with conflict, but the conflict gets easily resolved because of clear communication, expectations, boundaries. These things have to be always brought into the forefront and aired out, right? Less assumptions, more questions. So that's how it works. So if you can identify yourself having been in this situation, I've been in this situation several times in my life, I will admit, and I did not do what I would now have done, which is get up and leave and walk away, whether it's metaphorical because maybe it's not you're not in a position to literally get up and go, but you sort of check out. You make a mental note that this person is trying to basically manipulate you emotionally, psychologically. They're trying to influence you, to change you, to become somebody else, and evoke fear in you that if you don't do it, there'll be consequences. And what I want you to start doing is turn the whole thing around and be like, do I want to be with this kind of person who does that to me? You see the difference? Rather than, what can I do to be what this person expects me to be? You go, do I want to be with this guy? Do I want to be with this girl? You know, because this does not sound healthy. So it's a big red flag. Watch out for this, and do share here under the video if you have your own stories, and if there are any other labels you've been put on by narcissistic people or manipulative people in the past that you felt, you know, could be that you have validated internally, and that took you on that whole pathway of self contortion. So let's not do that anymore. I think we're too smart for that. We are too mature for that, and we're on a quest of really living a good life, surrounded by good people, not manipulators. So that's going to be it from me. Again, I look forward to your comments. If you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, I welcome you to do so. I love to record all sorts of videos. Sometimes they're spontaneous, sometimes they're pre-planned, but lots of content coming. So thank you so much. And if you're interested in working with me, information as to how to contact me and set up a coaching session with me are down below. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.